a step up, a lot more complicated than the ones we just did, okay? There's part of the process that's the same, but the beginning part is not. Getting your LCD, okay? You'll notice my last three steps are still going to be add, factor, reduce in that order, okay? But these first three steps are a little more complicated, okay? Sometimes the hardest part is finding the LCD, because that's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you, well, you know, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. The reason I had you write it as a single fraction on the last kind of questions was that's what's going to work best on these to save you some time and work, okay? So, I'm going to start by finding my least common denominator. If you have an x and an x squared, that's kind of like having a 3 and a 9, okay? If your denominators were 3 and 9, what would your least common denominator be? If you were going to add 1/3 plus 1/9, my LCD would be what? If I was going to take 1/3 plus 1/9, what's my least common denominator? Brady.
No, that's...
Can I make 9 a 3? If you were going to add these two fractions, you would have to make the denominators alike. Can I go backwards and make 9 a 3?
No.
I'd have to make 3 a 9. So my LCD here would be the 9. So if I have an x and an x squared, my LCD is going to be x squared. You can't go smaller than the biggest thing. And x squared is bigger than x. Okay? So, step 1 is to find your least common denominator. Now we compare. So this is the next step. This is like my step 2. What does this denominator x need to be multiplied by to make it x to the second power? What does this first denominator x need to be multiplied by to make it x to the second power? Amy?
X.
An x. That goes up here. And you technically have multiplied the denominator already because that's when we did this, okay? I'm kind of shortcutting it for you. Okay, the second denominator says x squared. What does it need to look like x squared? Nothing. It already looks like that, okay? So my third step in those first 3 new steps is to multiply through now. What I put up on the top or what's there. So 4 times x is 4x plus, so follow your signs, and then my 8 didn't need anything, so it just comes over. Once you do that, then it's just like last night's homework. Add, factor, reduce. Can I add 4x plus 8? Can I add those two together? No, because one has an x and one doesn't. Can I factor 4x plus 8? Since I wrote an equal sign, there's a good chance I can. I can take out a common factor of a 4. And then can I reduce anything? No. This x is with this group. It's part of a group. Never take away part of a group. So that's my final answer. I'm done. Okay, next question. My denominators are x minus 2 and x plus 2. This would be like having 7 and 5. They look different, okay? They're not the same. They look a little bit alike, but they're not the same. So they're completely 2 different factors. So when I go to form my LCD, I need an x minus 2. Then I come over to the second fraction, and I say to myself, okay, I need one of these. I need an x plus 2. So I need to write that one over there. You have to be able to see, like see is a kind of a weird word to say, but you have to be able to visualize that this is part of your LCD, and this one is part of your LCD. So these are two different numbers, two different factors that make up the least common denominator. Now we compare. First denominator says x minus 2. It needs to say x minus 2, x plus 2. So what's missing? Or what does it need? Same question, really. Yeah.
The x plus 2.
The x plus 2. And I compare my second one. This denominator says x plus 2, but it needs to say x minus 2x plus 2. So this needs to look like this. So it's missing the x minus 2. And we're going to multiply through. So this is our new step here. So 3 times x, we're distributing. 3 times x, 3 times 2. This is nice. It makes less mistakes for when there's an addition sign. 4 times x, 4 times minus 2. I'm not trying to make it sound simple, but that's all the new part today. That's the new stuff. Okay? Once you do that, then it goes back to our 3 steps. Add, factor, reduce. In that order. Add, factor, reduce. So let's add. 3x and 4x is 7x. Positive 6 and minus 8 is minus 2. And then can I factor 7x minus 2? No. Can I reduce anything? No. Even though there's like an x minus 2 here, it's not the same as that one. This is a 7x minus 2. This is just an x minus 2. So they're different. So you're done. That's my answer. Hannah.
I don't get how it wouldn't be like on the top line, like the 3x plus 2, and then it would like, and then plus 4x minus 2. Like how?
Where did I get the 6 and 8?
Yeah.
So I took, when I compared this denominator to this, what's missing? What's different?
The x plus 2.
Okay, so that's where that gets written up there. And I do the same thing on this side. Then I actually have to take and multiply the things I wrote. So 3 times x is 3x, and then 3 times 2 is 6. Now I distribute here. 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times minus 2 is minus 8. You can't cancel anything right here. You can't do any reducing. Reducing is going to be in the very, very, very last step. Brady.
Why is your final product on the denominator x minus 2 and x minus 2? Shouldn't them be x?
Oh, one's a,
Okay.
you keep, I did that the other day. Didn't I do something goofy like that? It's plus. I don't know.
So they don't like change?
They don't change, no. Anybody, people like me not paying that attention? Okay, I'm going to star this question. Kind of goes with the next question a little bit. If it is helpful to you, when you see a group, put parentheses around it. Because what I want you to recognize, or know I should say, is that, turn that off, this x has nothing to do with this x plus 4. So this x here has nothing to do in this x plus 4. This is its own little thing, This is its own little thing. So, as I said, if it's helpful, put parentheses around that group. So when I make my LCD, I need plain X, plain Jane X, all by itself. And then I also need my group, my X plus 4. So when you're forming your LCD, just look at the separate denominators, put them together as my denominator. And I'll compare now. The first denominator needs to look like the LCD that I wrote in blue. So what do I need? What do I need? Compare, yes?
Plus 1.
Need a little more.
X plus 1.
X plus 4. Because look at here. Here I have X. Here I have X, quantity X plus 4. So I need that whole group. So when you form the LCD, compare. All you're going to do is compare the denominator to what you write over here. And what's missing? What's it need that's not there? Okay, so like on this one, what do I need here to look like that one? I need what? The plain X. This has the group, but it's missing that piece, the plain X. So I multiply through. 5 times X, 5 times 4. Plus is always nicer than minus. Plus 3 times X. Now again, that's the new part. It's the hard part, but that's the new part. Yes?
Could you just consider it as you're cross multiplying and you're just like adding the bottom to the top? Crossed.
Not on every question, no. Not on every question. So I wouldn't fall into that. I know it's worked like that on the exam, these two, last two, but and it will in the next one, but that's not always the case. Okay. Good observation, though. Okay, so 3 steps in order. Add, factor, reduce. 5x and 3x is 8x. Plus 20. So collect those like terms. Factor if I can. I can take out a common factor of a 4. And I'm left with 2x plus 5 over x times x plus 4. And then I look to see if I can reduce, but I cannot. So that is my solution. Okay, on this next example, it's very similar, except that I also have a 3, not just an x. So again, this is a group, this is a quantity, which has nothing to do with the 3x. So when I form my LCD, start here. I need an x plus 4. So I put an x plus 4 over here. I come over here. I need a 3 and I need an x. Then I compare. First denominator needs what? Compare. You're looking here, and then you're looking here. What's missing? Brady?
3x.
The 3x. Then I got the second one. The second denominator is missing or needs the, Amy?
X plus 4.
The x plus 4.